Hello, this is Earl Purdy. I want to welcome you to A Course in Miracles here on Facebook Live. And we're going to talk about the connection between guiltlessness, seeing yourself as innocent, what that means, and how that makes you invulnerable, and how that keeps you from being hurt if you're tired of ever being hurt in any way. So we're going to start off with Brother John Christmas at johnchristmas.com. to hear a wonderful song based on the teachings of A Course in Miracles. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. I'm not a victim of my mom. I'm not a victim of my fall. I'm not a victim of events and circumstance at all. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. 'Cause what's happening now, what I've done to me. I'm not a victim of the future, not a victim of the past, not a victim of anything that really doesn't last. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. 'Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. Welcome to A Course in Miracles. This is Earl Purdy. I want you to know I'm so glad to be here with you today. We're gonna see if we can get guilt out of the way. Because when you've accepted the truth for yourself, you will be okay. I'm not a victim of the North, I'm not a victim of the South, not a victim of anything except what comes out my mouth. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. 'Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. Help me out now. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. You don't have to believe the ideas. You don't have to believe the ideas. You don't have to accept the ideas. You don't have to accept the ideas. You don't have to welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas, you may actively resist some of the ideas. You may actively resist some of the ideas. You may actively resist some of the ideas. You're not being asked to analyze the ideas at all. You're not asked to analyze the ideas at all. We're not going to analyze the ideas at all. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. 'Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. Oh yeah, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm Earl Purdy. And welcome to A Course in Miracles. I'm the Divine Repetition Teacher. I'm the Divine Remembering Teacher. I'm here to help you remember what the Course is saying and to hear what the Course is saying. This is not a class for analyzing A Course in Miracles. You're looking for the statement that's your statement for today that will answer some situation or circumstance that you are concerned about. Just remember that you don't have to believe it. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to welcome A Course in Miracles. Some of the ideas you may find hard to believe, And some of the ideas may seem to be quite startling. Don't forget, you're not asked to judge and analyze the ideas at all. I know it's hard for a lot of people to get this, but it's using the ideas that will show you that the ideas are true. It's not analyzing and discussing the ideas that will show you that the ideas are true. It's the use of the ideas in A Course in Miracles that will show you that the ideas in A Course in Miracles are true. And if you're looking for me to say things that people in the world generally already believe, then you're going to be out of luck. Because the truth is just the opposite of everything that the world believes. I say, the truth is totally the opposite of everything the world believes. Minds that are insane believe just the opposite of love. Minds that are insane believe just the opposite of love. Minds that are insane believe just the opposite of love and truth. And so if you're looking for this to agree with the things you've learned in the world, if you're looking for this to agree with the things that you've learned in the world, if you're looking for this to agree with the things that you've learned in the world, then it's not going to do that. Let me get everything up the way that I want it here. Let's see. Because I want to make sure that I hear some cool music. So I want you to know that we're going to be on paragraph 6, page 238 in the Course in Miracles text, page 238, the Course in Miracles text, the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles, the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles, the one that's most people have. We're on chapter 13, the Guiltless World. We're in section 1, guiltlessness and invulnerability. Guiltlessness and invulnerability. And it's on page 238, and we're going to be on paragraph 6. Paragraph 6. And I'm going to do it in plain language, and I'm going to have fun with it, because the Course in Miracles says that we got here because we forgot to laugh to begin with. That we need to lighten up. We need to lighten up. And so I'm going to start off with paragraph 6. And it says, when you have accepted the atonement for yourself, you will realize that there is no guilt in God's child. So when you have accepted the word of truth for yourself, the Course in Miracles defines atonement as the truth, okay? Your innocence. It says when you have accepted the atonement, which is the truth, which is the word of God, which is the word of love, the Course in Miracles says when you have accepted that for yourself, you will realize that there is no guilt in yourself or anyone else. So until you accept your innocence, you won't see the innocence in anyone else. Until you have accepted your innocence, you won't truly see the innocence in anyone else. So if you only see guilt in others, you only see guilt in yourself. Even if you don't believe that, that's okay, but that's the truth. All the guilt you see in anyone else is the guilt in your own mind, according to the Course in Miracles. And it's only as you look at yourself, it's only as you look at yourself, it's only as you look at others as guiltless can you understand your oneness and everybody else's oneness. So you won't understand oneness until you see guiltlessness in yourself and guiltlessness in everyone else. You will not see any guiltlessness in yourself until you've accepted this truth for yourself. The Course in Miracles says your main responsibility is to accept the truth for yourself. Accept the truth for yourself. Accept the truth for yourself. Apply the truth to yourself. Apply the truth to yourself. Accept the truth for yourself. Trying to force it on someone else, trying to convert someone else, which I'm not trying to do. I'm sharing this. I've done this for 40 years. So I'm sharing this. I'm sharing this. I'm not trying to convert. I'm not trying to convert anybody. I'm sharing the Course in Miracles. So when you've accepted the truth and the innocence for yourself, then you will realize that there's no guilt in me and there's no guilt in you. I know you may see plenty of situations that you can bring up that you could say that there's a lot of guilt. That's okay. I'm going to tell you the truth according to the Course in Miracles. It has nothing to do with your beliefs. The Course in Miracles is just telling it like it is. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to believe it. You can have all kinds of evidence in your mind that it's not true. It's okay. That's okay. It's called freedom. So you can think anything you want to. But the truth is, we've been told that when you accepted the beauty and the love and the innocence in yourself, that's when you're going to see it in everyone else around you. And the guilt that you see in anyone else, it's in your own mind. So it's within your own mind. And as you look upon another person as innocent, that's when you're going to understand your oneness. If you're wondering, like, when will I understand my oneness? When will I see my innocence? Well, you're going to see your innocence when you see it in others. You're going to see your guiltlessness and your oneness when you see innocence in others. You'll see it in yourself. So, the idea of guilt brings a belief in condemnation of one by another, projecting separation in place of unity. So, do you know that the idea of guilt is, I am going to believe in condemning you, and you're going to believe in condemning me or someone else. So what is the idea of guilt? The idea of guilt is the idea of condemnation. So if you are condemning someone, if a person is condemning someone, that's the idea of guilt. So when you are condemning someone, when you are practicing guilt, you are projecting separation in place of unity. So the idea of guilt is me projecting the idea that we are separate instead of the idea that we are joined. The idea of guilt is the very projection that we are separate instead of one. So the idea of guilt brings a belief in condemnation of one by another, projecting separation in place of unity. You can condemn only yourself. Listen to me now. You can condemn only yourself. It's only yourself you're condemning when you condemn someone else. It is only yourself that you're condemning when you condemn someone else. And by condemning yourself, by condemning someone else, you cannot know that you are the child of God if you're condemning everyone and everything around you. You cannot know you are the child of God if you are projecting separation instead of unity. You have the idea of guilt when you're condemning someone. So there's no such thing as condemning anyone and not increasing your own guilt. Now listen to me now, listen to me now. When you see someone else as guilty and you see yourself as guilty, you are denying the condition of that person's very being, which is their perfect blamelessness. Now, I didn't say you would see everybody's perfect blamelessness at first, because that's the purpose of A Course in Miracles. That's the purpose of the workbook. The purpose of the workbook is to give you exercises that will allow you to see the innocence and guiltlessness of everyone around you. The purpose of the workbook is to give the Course in Miracles, a practical application in your everyday life. So listen to what I'm saying. So when you see another person is guilty, you have denied the condition of their being. Their condition, their being's condition is blamelessness. You are blameless. 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 Do you know out of love you were created, 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 out of love you were created. And in love, you abide in love. You abide in love. You live in love. You live in love. You live in love. I'm the divine repetition teacher. I want you to hear what the Course in Miracles is saying. Not analyze what the Course in Miracles is saying. I want you to hear what it's saying. I want you to hear what it was saying. Do you know that you were created out of love? You were created out of love. In love, you live. You live in love. Don't you know you live in love? And what has always followed you? Goodness and mercy has always followed you. Goodness and mercy has always followed you. Goodness and mercy has always followed you. Listen to me. You are the mighty companions. We are the mighty companions. That's why I do this live, so that we can meet. And the comments and communication with each other is a beautiful thing. I read all of the comments after my class, but I'm so glad that we are here. So listen to what I'm saying. It's when you, as long as you think you're guilty, as long as you think someone else is guilty, you will not see that unlimited love that you are and the unlimited love and innocence that they are. It's just a fact. I want you to share my videos. That's one way you could really help me get the word of love out, is for you to share the videos on your timeline and in groups on Facebook Live and other ways. So the Course in Miracles, do you know the Course in Miracles says, out of love you were created, and in love you abide. The Course in Miracles says what else? It says that goodness and mercy has always followed you. And the reason why goodness and mercy has always followed you is because there is a part of you. You may not be aware of it, but there is a divine self in you. There is a holy, innocent, loving self in you. And that loving self in you has always extended the love of your Creator. There's a part of you that kicks butt in its ability to love. There's a part of you that is so loving that you don't even know it exists. There's a part of you that is so loving that you do not know that it exists. There is a part of you that knows you are so loving that you don't even know it exists. Ooh, 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 ooh. Do you know, as you see the holy, beautiful companions who travel with you, right now, there are a host of holy, beautiful companions that's watching this and listening to this right now. And as you perceive the innocent companions, that's what holy means. Of course, the miracle says holy means healing. As you perceive the innocent companions who travel with you, you will realize, what is it that you're going to realize as you see the innocent companions who are walking with you? What is it that you're going to realize? When you see the innocent companions that are walking with you, you're going to realize that there is no journey. There is no journey. There is no journey. What you are doing is you are awakening. You're not going anywhere. You're just waking up. You are waking up. You're waking up. You're not going anywhere. You're waking up. You're not going anywhere. You're waking up. There is no journey. There is no journey. There is no journey, but there is an awakening. There is no journey, but there is an awakening, but there is no journey. There is an awakening, but there is no journey. Woo! But what about those of you? What about those of you who are really on the path, who are trying not to be asleep to the truth? The Son of God, the child of God, who sleepeth not, has kept faith with his Father for you. The part of you that is still awake, the part of you that is total love, that part of you has kept faith with the Creator for you. So what does that mean? It means that there is a part of you that is awakening and is awake. And that part of you has kept the faith for you. There's a part of you that has total faith. There's a part of you that has kept the faith. The real part of you has kept the faith. The love in you has kept the faith. There is no road to travel on. Are you aware that there is no road to travel on? There is no road to travel on, no time to travel through. There's no road to travel on. There's no road to travel on. There's no road to travel on, and no time to travel through. You're not traveling through time, and you're not on a road. You are awakening. You are waking up. God doesn't wait for you in time. Love isn't waiting for you in time. Real love, it isn't waiting for you in time. God isn't waiting for you in time. You know why God isn't waiting for you? Do you know why God is not waiting to connect with you? Do you know why love is not waiting to connect with you? Because love is forever unwilling to be without you. Your Creator is unwilling to be without you. Your Creator, love, is unwilling to be without you. Where there's love, love wants to be with you. Love never wants to be separate from you. Nothing that loves you wants to be disconnected from you, not connected to you. Do you hear? Do you hear? Do you hear what I'm saying? God doesn't wait for you in time. Your Creator is forever unwilling to be without you. And so it has always been, what has always been, that your Creator love is unwilling to be without you. I'm unwilling to be without you. Are you unwilling to be without me? Love is unwilling to be without you. So what is it that you need to do today? What is it that you need to do today? Let the holiness, let the innocence of God's child shine away the cloud of guilt that darkens your mind. Let the innocence shine away the guilt that darkens your mind. So how do you let the guilt shine away? How do you get rid of the guilt? You accept the other person's purity as yours. You accept the other person's innocence as your innocence. If I will accept your innocence as my innocence, and if you were to accept my innocence as your innocence, then you would learn that my innocence is your innocence. We are one. Your innocence is my innocence. My innocence is your innocence. Your innocence is my innocence. Your purity is my purity. Your purity is my purity. My purity is your purity. My purity is your purity. Your purity is my purity. Do you know, 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 do you know? You are invulnerable because you are guiltless. You are invulnerable because you are guiltless. You are guiltless. You are guiltless. You are guiltless. You may not believe it. You may not believe that you are guiltless, but you are innocent. You are invulnerable because you are innocent. What will keep you from being hurt is to recognize your innocence. Do you know that the Course in Miracles teaches that guilt is a request for punishment? That when you make yourself feel guilty, you are asking for punishment when you see yourself as guilty. When you see someone else as guilty, you're asking for punishment. Now listen to me. Listen to me. I didn't say that we didn't do stupid stuff. I didn't say that our ego does not do unloving stuff. I did not say that the part of us that's wounded and thinks it's separate from God doesn't make mistakes. Of course, at this level of consciousness, we sometimes make mistakes. But mistakes are for loving correction. Mistakes are for loving correction. When people are making mistakes, they need to be helped. They need to be healed. So listen to what I'm saying. When I say that you are innocent, I'm saying you, how you were created, what you were created as is innocent. Just because you get dirt all over you, you don't become the dirt that you have on you. You go to the shower, you wash it off, and the you that you have always been is right under that layer of dirt. And that's what the Course in Miracles is just saying to you. What you are is innocence and love. Now, you may do some things that you see as not loving and not innocent, but that's like the dirt. And the Course in Miracles is the shower. The Course in Miracles is the shower of innocence and the shower of truth. Let's take a shower together. Let's take a shower together, a spiritual shower together right now. Would you like to do an innocence shower together right now? You are invulnerable because you are guiltless. You can hold on to the past only through guilt. So if you're holding on to the past, to something unpleasant from your past, you are doing it because you are feeling guilty. When you feel guilty, you can't let go of past pain. When you feel guilty, see, the temptation is to think that the other person is guilty, and that's why you can't let it go. But the truth is, you can hold on to the past, what's gone, only through guilt. It's only through guilt that you can hold on to things from the past. For guilt establishes that you will be punished for what you have done. Listen to me. Do you know what guilt does? It establishes that you're going to be punished. So you can keep on focusing on guilt if you want to. You can keep thinking that you're doing something noble by feeling guilty about everything. No, when there's any kind of pain, when there's any kind of hurt, when you think that anything that you've done has been harmful, hurting someone is a mistake. Projecting, blaming, attacking is a mistake. It's not something to feel guilty about. It's something you should stop doing. Attacking, hurting yourself or others, it is something you should stop doing. It's not something that you should be seeing yourself as guilty and bad about. Stop it. That's what you do with unloving thoughts. You just stop it, because guilt establishes that you will be punished for what you have done. And so guilt and then you being punished depends on one-dimensional time. And what is one-dimensional time? Well, one-dimensional time is time that proceeds from the past to the future. One-dimensional time is you believing that time goes from the past to the future. But past means gone, and future means not yet. So one-dimensional time goes from the gone to the not yet. Time goes from the gone to the not yet. So no one who believes in one-dimensional time that goes from the past to the future can understand what always means. Because guilt deprives you. What is it that guilt deprives you of? Guilt deprives you, says it right here, guilt must deprive you of the appreciation of eternity. Guilt deprives you of the appreciation of eternity. Eternity is now, according to the Course. So when you're feeling guilty and when you're feeling bad, when you're putting yourself down and when you are condemning yourself, when you are condemning someone else, then it deprives you of an appreciation of right now. Because how can you enjoy right now if all you're thinking about is what you're upset about? If all you're thinking about is your guilt or someone else's guilt, or if you're condemning yourself or condemning someone else, it is depriving you. What is it depriving you of? It is depriving you of an appreciation of eternity. Being mad and upset and guilty all the time is depriving you of the joy that you could be experiencing right now with me and right now with us. You are immortal. What does that mean? You are a spiritual being. 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 So you are spiritual means you are immortal. What you really are is immortal, because what you really are is eternal. Now, you may not believe you last forever because you think you are a body. You may not believe you last forever because you think you are just a physical body that dies one day. And if you believe that you are a physical body that just dies one day, and you don't know of your spiritual self, you don't know of your immortal self, if you don't know of your eternal self, do you know that you are immortal and you are eternal and always, always must be now? So anything that's always must be happening right now. So if you are loved by your Creator, you are loved right now. If someone really loves you, they love you right now. It wouldn't be, I used to love you. It would not be, I'm going to love you in the future. It will be, I love you right now. So what is guilt? What is guilt? Guilt then is a way of holding past and future in your mind. So guilt is a way of holding and guilt is a way that I keep focusing on my past and something that happened in the past in my mind. And guilt is also a way of holding the not yet in my mind. So I'm always worried about the future. I'm always worried about the not yet. Someone that feels guilty, someone that's full of guilt and anger, they are always in the future, which is the not yet. Well, someone who's guilty and unhappy and upset, they're focused in the past, which is the gone, which is what's over. So holding the past and the future in your mind by making yourself feel guilty, you're holding the past and the future in your mind when you feel guilty. Now, why would you keep on thinking about the past and future? Why would you keep using the guilt to hold on to the past or the future? Well, by feeling guilty, it ensures the ego's continuity. If you want to make sure that your ego continues, if you want to make sure that your sense of separation from God continues, if you want to make sure that your sense of weakness and upset and unhappiness continues, just keep making yourself feel guilty and keep making everyone else around you feel guilty. Because guilt is a request for punishment, and it's a way of trying to not let go of the past that's kicking your behind. If you just think about all the things that you're upset about that's happened to you in the past, and if you are constantly concerned about what's going to happen in the future, that means you are full of guilt according to the Course, because you're trying to ensure the continuity of your separation, of your ego. That's what's happening. For if what has been in the past will be punished, if you're going to be punished in the future for something that you think you did in the past, the ego's continuity is guaranteed. So how do you keep your ego going? How do you keep your fear going? How do you keep your guilt going? How do you do it? Keep believing that you're going to be punished in the future for something that you think you did in the past. If you want to keep your fear going, if you want to keep your guilt going, believe you are going to be punished in the future for some mistake that you've made in the past. The ego's continuity is guaranteed. So how do you keep the ego going? Sit all day long, be afraid that you're going to be punished for something that you did in the past, And also want somebody else to be punished for what they did in the past. Because what you want for someone else is what you're asking for yourself. What you want for someone else is what's going to come to you. What you want for someone else is what's going to come to you is a universal metaphysical law. So if you want someone else to be condemned, that's what will come to you. If you want someone else to be innocent and loving, and you want to see them as lovable and innocent, that's what's going to come to you. So if you want your fear and guilt and upset to be continuous and guaranteed, keep on believing that you're going to be punished for something you did in the past, instead of believing that you are going to be lovingly corrected by the Holy Spirit, the divine, for what you've done in the past. But what about your continuity? What about you? What about that loving self that is you? Well, the guarantee of your continuity is God's, not the ego's. Your Creator guarantees that you will have eternal life that never ends. Love never ends. Love never ends. Real love never ends. If it's real love, it never ends. It made the form that the love is expressed in, the way you express love may change. The way you express love, the form that you express love in or through may change. But real loving, real love, real love, real love, your continuity is guaranteed by love. Your continuity isn't guaranteed by fear, which is the ego, guilt, which is the ego. So when I talk about immortality, when A Course in Miracles talks about you are eternal, when the Course in Miracles talks about immortality, well, immortality is the opposite of time. And what is time? Time is something that passes away, but immortality never passes away. Your eternal nature never passes away. Love, real love, is constant. Immortality is constant. So when we talk about immortality, we're talking about something that is the opposite of you are born, live a little while, grow old, and die. That is what the ego does. That is what the part of us that is a temporary idea of who we are. The part of us that's identified with the human body and think we're just merely humans instead of spiritual beings. That part does go through what appears to be death. That's why as long as you identify with guilt and anger and grievances, it keeps you limited to a perception of yourself as a body that's going to die one day. Do you know that the Course in Miracles is a spiritual teaching? It is not a book on manifesting things in the world. It's actually a book on how to transcend all of the fear of the world and all the fear in your mind and all the guilt in your mind and in your perception. A Course in Miracles is about helping you achieve a certain state of consciousness. The Course in Miracles is about your mind. It's about your perception. It could care less about if you get a house or a car or new clothes or you lose 10 pounds or you become the president of a company. Those things are neutral things. They can be wonderful things, but don't mistake that that's what the Course in Miracles is about. The Course in Miracles is about removing every block, every obstacle inside of you that keeps you from being aware of how loving and innocent and lovable you are. Do you know the Course in Miracles is teaching you how to remove all anger, guilt, and grievances? It's not a book on how to manifest things, because it doesn't matter what you physically manifest if you're crazy. It doesn't matter what you physically manifest if you're full of anger and guilt and grievances, because you won't be able to enjoy what you manifest anyway. So the Course in Miracles is saying to us what? So what does it mean to accept the atonement for yourself? What is in this? And the word is atonement. It is not at one meant. It was channeled as atonement, and accepting the atonement, which is the Course defines as the word of God, the word of truth, the truth, your innocence. So accepting the atonement, accepting your innocence, accepting the truth, accepting the correction of error, teaches you what immortality is. So you've got to learn what your eternal life is. And you don't have to die to know eternal life, because what's eternal is always. That means it's happening right now. So obviously you don't have to die to be eternal if you're already eternal, because eternal means always. So always includes right now. So you are eternal right now. And if you will be honest with yourself, the one thing that you have been aware of your entire life is right now. You've always had a now. As long as you've been on this plane, in this dream, you've had a now. So immortality is now. And so by accepting your guiltlessness, what's going to happen? Well, when you accept your innocence, then you are going to learn that the past has never been, because there's only been a now, and the future is needless because there is only now. And so the future will never happen, because the future means not yet, and you'll always be in a now, and the past means gone, but that's also not real if it's gone, because you are in a now. So the future in time, do you know that most people associate the future with expiation? They think that they're going to get the results of what they've done or what they're doing now in the future. And if you believe that you're going to be punished or something bad might happen to you in the future because of something you're thinking or doing right now, the Course says that's guilt. And only guilt can induce a sense of a need for expiation or punishment. So what do you need to do to guarantee your safety? What do you really need to do? You need to accept the guiltlessness of the Son of God. You need to accept the guiltlessness of the children of love as yours. So accept the guiltlessness of each child of God as your guiltlessness, your innocence. Accepting the guiltlessness of the Son of God as yours is therefore God's way of reminding you of God's creation and what you are in truth. The more you accept your innocence, the more you will remember your true spiritual identity. The more you accept your innocence. So what does that mean? I need to read the Course in Miracles and understand the text, which is a theoretical framework of a course. I need to do the 365 workbook lessons and exercises, because they will teach me how to let go of the guilt and the blocks, because you're not going to let go of all the guilt and blocks just because I tell you what the Course in Miracles is saying. That's going to come through your personal proactive work of studying and doing the workbook exercises on a regular basis. The reward will simply be everything you've ever wanted in your heart. All the joy, all the peace beyond anything you can ever imagine, all of the safety, it's going to come out of the practice of the principles of A Course in Miracles. If you are a Course in Miracles student or someone who's drawn to A Course in Miracles, and everyone isn't, but we are all headed to the same place. We're all headed to love. We are all headed to the same place. We're all headed to love. You may not know that you're innocent completely yet, but if you already knew that you were completely innocent on every level, there would be no need for you to even be pursuing your spiritual path. God has never condemned his Son. Listen to me. Your Creator does not condemn you. Your Creator does not condemn you. The universe does not condemn you. Love has never condemned you. Love never condemns. Love never condemns. Real love never condemns. Real love never condemns. Real love never condemns. And being guiltless, you are eternal. The child of God is innocent, and being innocent, the child of God is eternal. So we have to know what the end game is. And don't you know the end game is for you to recognize that you are a spiritual being, that you are one, that you are innocent, that you are sinless, that you are guiltless, but you have thoughts and experiences and memories that tell you that that's not true, or that it's not true about someone else. And when you see it as not, when you see, I know that when people are in fear and in guilt and they don't love themselves and they're condemning themselves and condemning others and they're suffering, vicious people are fearful people. And the Course in Miracles says fearful people can be vicious. Fearful people can be vicious. So when people feel guilty and fearful and unloved, the Course in Miracles says they can be vicious. So what do you do? What do you do? You have to learn how to see them in a way that they do not see themselves. You have to learn how to see yourself in a way that you may not see yourself. The only way out is love. The only way out is learning to see each other beyond the errors and mistakes that we make. A vicious person that is racist or attacking or sad or sick or in lack, do you know that that person is calling for love? They're calling for God. They are calling for their innocence and their guiltlessness. People who do horrible call for God things are ridiculously afraid and ridiculously feeling separate. Attack won't work. Attack just makes more attack, because what you give is what you will receive, what you're giving. Never forget that. So God's child is innocent. And being innocent, you are eternal. Being innocent, you are eternal. And so listen, 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 listen. You cannot get rid of guilt by making it real and then trying to atone for it. So you can't see yourself as guilty and make it real and then think you're going to dispel it by atoning for it. Making it real and then trying to atone for it, that is the ego's plan. That is the plan of the part of you that doesn't know what love is. The part of you that doesn't think you're innocent. It makes the guilt real, and then it tries to tell you how to get rid of something you've made real. So instead of dispelling the guilt, it's not about dispelling the guilt. It's about atoning for it. And that's the mistake. Making it real and then thinking you got to atone for it. That is the fear, guilty mind's plan. You see, the fearful, guilty mind, the ego, that person believes in atonement through attack. So when a person is full of guilt and full of anger, they think that the only way you can right something is through punishment and attack, because the ego is the part of your mind that's fully committed to the insane notion that attack is what makes you safe. The ego is the part of your mind that is fully committed to the insane notion that the more you attack somebody, the more they're going to want to help you and do something for you. The guilty, fearful mind believes in atonement through attack. It's fully committed to the insane notion that attack is the answer. And you who cherish guilt, do you know that if you cherish guilt, you're going to be fully committed to the idea that attack is the answer? For how else but by identifying with your guilt in your own mind, your own ego? For how else but by identifying with your own ego, your own fear, your own guilt, would you keep holding dear what you do not want? So what is the what you do not want? What is it that you do not want that you keep cherishing and holding dear? The idea that you may be guilty or someone else may be guilty. The idea that somebody else deserves to be condemned or punished, or you need to be condemned or punished. So when you identify with the teachings of the world that teach you that we're separate and guilty and deserve to be punished, you are holding dear what you don't want. So I'm going to ask this question one more time. How else but by identifying with the ego? How else but by identifying with any thoughts of fear and guilt in you could you hold dear attack and guilt, which is something you don't want. So I'm going to do a quick recap. I'm Earl Purdy, a full-time teacher of A Course in Miracles. I love teaching this. I've been doing it full-time for over 30 years. If you like to make a love offering, if you like to make a financial expression of appreciation, please go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com, earlpurdy.com. And you can use Venmo, and my email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com, earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. I'm available for one-on-one personal coaching, healing, advising sessions called Clarity Sessions. And for those who are open to it, I also use my over 40 years of experience as a soul purpose astrologer and numerologist. The Course in Miracles teaches that the Holy Spirit can use anything we've made, every skill, everything we've learned to wake us up. So there's nothing you've learned that can be used by Spirit to wake you up. On Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, I do hardcore Course in Miracles, especially for Course in Miracles students here on Facebook Live on the Earl Purdy page, And make sure you like and follow my page. That way, whenever I go live, you will be notified. Please sign up for my contact list so that you can be made aware of any special events that I'm taking part of or doing. Wow. I love it. And then on 1:00 p.m. Mountain Time on Sundays, we do A Course in Miracles right here on Facebook Live on the Earl Purdy page. And please share this video. So let's do a quick review of what we heard. Don't forget you want to listen to this at least 4 times this week before we meet again. So what were we told? Well, we were told that when you accepted the truth, for yourself, you will know that you've done it because you will not feel guilty and you will not be projecting guilt on anyone else. When you have really got what I said, what the Course in Miracles says, if you really heard me today, you can stop fooling yourself by realizing that when you've accepted what the Course is teaching, when you have accepted the love, when you have accepted your innocence for yourself, you will not feel any guilt. You will be feeling love and innocence. And when you look at someone else as innocent, you will begin to understand oneness. So what is guilt? Guilt is projecting condemnation on someone else, and you're seeing yourself as separate from them. Racism is a form of seeing each other as separate and different from each other. Do you know that you were created out of love? You were created out of love, and you abide in love. You live in love. Goodness and mercy has followed you. You are being stalked. You are being stalked. You are being stalked by goodness and mercy. And goodness and mercy have been following you. They've been following you. Goodness and mercy have always followed you, for your real self has always extended the love of God. Your real self has always extended the love of God. There is no journey, but only an awakening. You are awakening. You have a lot of innocent companions who are traveling with you. They're right online right now. Can't you feel the innocent companions that are traveling with you right now? Hey y'all, Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. Oh, hey y'all, can you feel your mighty companions walking with you? Can you feel your innocent companions walking with you? There is no journey, there is no journey, there is only an awakening. There's a loving part of you, a divine part of you that has never forgotten itself. There's another you that you don't know yet, that totally knows that it is loved and loving and lovable. Let your innocence, let my innocence, let your innocence shine away the cloud of guilt that darkens your mind. It's time to shine away the cloud of guilt that darkens your mind. It's time to shine away the cloud of guilt that darkens your mind. It's time to shine away the cloud of guilt that darkens your mind. By accepting your purity as my purity, I will learn of you that the purity is mine. By accepting your innocence as my innocence, I will learn of you of my innocence. I see the innocence in you and I'll see the innocence in me, but I have to learn how to remove the blocks to seeing the innocence. And how do you do that? By studying and using the ideas in A Course in Miracles. If A Course in Miracles is your path. It's not going to happen just by listening to someone talk. Changing your mind and letting go of the blocks are not going to happen by trying to intellectually figure it out without actually doing the exercises. The purpose of the exercises in A Course in Miracles is to show you how to let go of the guilt and then allow the innocence to shine through you like light shining through a window after the shades have been drawn and lifted up and opened. You do this by proactively studying. I know we're in a time in our human history where everyone expects everything to happen instantly. There may be McDonald's and Big Macs and all that, but there is no Mac enlightenment. You know what I'm saying? You don't completely correct eons of false thinking in an instant unless you have a level of motivation way, way beyond what the average person has. So be patient, be gentle with yourself. You are guiltless, 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 you are innocent, you are guiltless. You are innocent, innocent, innocent. You are innocent. It doesn't matter if you believe it, it is true. You might think I'm crazy, but you're saying that about you. I'm here to share with you as much love as I can. I want to get rid of the blocks to love. You are immortal because you are eternal. You are immortal because you are eternal. Stop making yourself feel guilty. That's asking for punishment. Stop making someone else guilty. That's asking for punishment, even if you're doing it for yourself, even if you feel justified. Immortality is the opposite of time. So if you were to accept what I'm teaching you right now, and when you accept your innocence, you're going to learn that all the things in the past that you may be feeling guilty about is needless and will not be. Take a deep breath. We are going to move toward our innocence now. If you accept your guiltlessness today, that's God's way of reminding you of what you are. What I've been doing today is reminding you of how wonderful and innocent you are. I know you may not or may believe it, but I am here to remind you that you are innocent and loved. I'm here to remind you that you are innocent and you are loved. God has never condemned you. Love never condemns you. Being guiltless, you are eternal. You are eternal. You are eternal. You are loving and loved and lovable. You are loving and loved and lovable. You are loving and loved and lovable. I am loving and loved and lovable. I am loving and loved and lovable. We are loved and loving and lovable. We are loved and loving and lovable. We are loved and loving and lovable. So if you want to hear loving things about yourself, then watch Earl Purdy videos on the Course in Miracles. If you want to be reminded that you are not alone, that your Creator doesn't condemn you, and that you don't deserve to be punished, you deserve to be healed, make it a real goal this coming week, this coming day, right now, to focus on the innocence and the purity of the people around you. And if you see anything other than innocence, if you see anything other than innocence, and if you see anything other than purity, say you're seeing a call for innocence. All the anger and attack in the world and the guilt that we see is a call for innocence and love. Mighty companions, as usual, it's been awesome to be here with you and to do this together, to hear some sanity in this insane world. And I really want to thank you. I want to thank those of you who share with me. Thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you, those who are here, those who tune in. I can feel your presence, and it's a blessing to my life. I always listen back to the entire class as soon as I finish to allow me to receive my lesson for today. So, mighty companion, I love you, and may the Course be with you.